finally got around to my port lights a year after I removed them, and I'm cleaning off all the sealant and adhesive here. I think this has been done at least 1 or 2 times before I got to it, but I'm not sure how well they cleaned off the original sealant. I think they were just trying to fix leaks, and I don't think they actually took the entire frame out and rebedded the window, which is what I'm doing here. This is one of the long port lights. I have 4 long port lights and 6 shorter port lights, and all of them were this messy. This footage was filmed at 1 frame every 30 seconds, and when I imported it into my video editor, I sped it up an additional 200%, so you can see how long it took just to do 1 port light. It took me a couple days to do all of them. But I had a great time, as you can tell, until my camera started to get away from me. Alright, so here I am putting in the port light windows, and I decided not to go with plexiglass or Lexan, and instead I went with 1/4 inch automotive safety glass. It's a little heavier and about 1/8 of an inch thinner than the other plexiglass that I had before. So here's the old plexiglass, and here's the new safety glass, and I don't know if you can see the difference, but it's safety glass is a little thinner. Also, the Lexan had a sort of a bevel around this edge, and the bevel fit right into this groove right here. So what I'm hoping is that the Dow 795 silicone building sealant, what I'm hoping is that it is strong enough to seat this glass in here, and once everything is all sandwiched together, screwed down, that it will keep it nice and snug. I think it will. This stuff is supposed to be fairly permanent. I think this is the stuff they use to glue skyscraper windows in, or something like that. And let's squeeze out some 795. And what I found is if you just put a nice, big, thick bead all the way around it, then when you put the glass in, it all smushes out, and it seems to make a pretty good seal. So that's what I've been doing. I'm not too worried about getting a uniform thickness through here, because when I'm finished, I go back over it with a toothpick and sort of smooth it out, push extra down into gaps that I might have. And the reason I went with the glass is because both Lexan and plexiglass will craze over time, and they get a little milky and cloudy. And so with safety glass, because it's pretty strong, obviously it's not going to shatter and fill the whole cabin with glass, but it's not going to craze either, and it should be nice and clear for the life of, for a while. And also, when it's time to reseat these things, reseal them, I can just clean the glass off, and it'll probably be good as new. Okay. So I've got a nice thick bead all the way around. It's a little thin in some places, but that's okay. When I push it down, it should sploosh out. And what I tend to do is push it down, and then it sort of oozes over this lip right here onto the other side. It takes 180 minutes to dry, which is 3 hours. It takes 1 to 2 weeks to fully cure, which is a long time. So I want to make sure I have no fingerprints or anything on this. Don't want any oils. Just push it down. You can see it oozing over the side there. I think my goal is just to make sure I don't have any of this frame lip showing on the underside. And looks like I got it pretty good. Looks pretty good all the way around there. All right, so now I'm gonna take a toothpick and just sort of smooth it out. It's really amazing how many products we have for doing stuff like this. Adhesives, bonding agents and all kinds of stuff. Makes me feel a little guilty for putting this much synthetic stuff into the world. But I don't know, I figure, well, this is all going to be waste, so that's going right in the landfill. I feel definitely guilty about that. The stuff on the boat will probably stay on the boat for another couple of decades if Ladybug lasts that long. So at least it'll be put to good use. But you know, a lot of this stuff comes in plastic packaging, and that gets thrown away, recycled. I try to recycle everything I can, but it's definitely a waste. Sailors are supposed to care about the environment, but we sure use a lot of disposable stuff. And the boating industry in general uses a lot of toxic chemicals. But I don't know what else to do about that. I guess I can just not boat. Okay, that's pretty good. This side, and we'll pop it over to this side, and you can see there's a bunch of goop that sort of oozes out there. In 3 hours, I'm gonna come back and take an X-Acto and hopefully I can just shave it off. Hopefully it won't have gotten too hard by that point. But yeah, it feels pretty solid. I think this is gonna work. I think these cleaned up pretty well. So this goes into the cabin. This is the inside. This is the outside. 3M 4000 UV around here. And then I will plop this little guy on the inside and screw everything together and then let it cure, and it should be watertight, I hope. One window. There's two. Look who it is.
Hello, everyone.
All right, here's the moment we've been waiting for since the windows came out last year. There's Jen in there somewhere.
Hi.
There she is. So I got this 3M 4000 UV, and I'm gonna spread it all over the outside of these frames here. Then we'll push the frames into the side of the cabin, screws in, and let it cure for a couple days. Then I'll come back in and unscrew them, and then I'll weather seal the inside and put butyl tape so the screws themselves don't leak. And here we go. You're out over too far. There we go. You should feel it like click in. There you go. Yeah. Push that one on the top. Okay. Update. It is the beginning of October. I think today is September 30th. I finished installing one side of the windows. Sadly, one of them has already broken. And so I think that this is probably not going to be a good solution for me. And I didn't spend a lot of money on these glass pieces. I think I spent $120 altogether. So it's not that big of a deal. Just kind of a pain that I have to take it back out again and replace it. Because I have a feeling as soon as this boat gets in the water, it starts flexing. That's probably going to happen to some of these other ones too. Because this, the cabin is not entirely flush. And so this glass does have to bend a little bit. In fact, these long ones were kind of hard to fit the frames together because the glass was straight and the cabin is curved. But we got it and they didn't break, so maybe it's okay. I also cleaned off the gunk around the windows. Let's take a walk. Looks pretty good. There's the broken one. Just wanted to give a look at the new Portlights from the inside of the cabin. I think that's a pretty successful installation so far. It's been raining for the past few days and I came in today, didn't see any sign of a leak. Looks pretty good. My headliner here is coming out, but this frame is attached to the outside of the cabin, so I think it's okay. And here's the one that broke. Can't feel anything. Maybe I'll let it go for a little while, see what happens to it. Some of these screws are the wrong size. They're too long. Didn't realize that I should have marked every screw because they're all exactly the right length. I think they were cut off when they were installed. So some of them are longer than others. It looks pretty nice though. The head. These two up here in the V-berth are looking good. The V-berth itself is not looking that great, but we'll get there. And these two, we ran out of time, so we didn't do those. Ladybug is a mess. I wonder if she will ever be put back together again. What was I thinking? Some of these screws that I needed to reach the outside are now too long once all the rest of the screws are in, so I'm going to take these long screws out, replace them with short screws.